Thanks for staying with us. Still on President Trump's threats against Nigeria, global reactions are now pouring in, with China leading the charge in defense of the Nigerian government. President Donald Trump had earlier warned that if Nigeria's government fails to act against what he described as a Christian genocide in parts of the country, the United States may be forced to intervene militarily to protect believers. His comments triggered widespread concern over possible foreign interference and the risk of escalating global tension. In a swift and pointed reaction, China has openly opposed Trump's threats, declaring full support for Nigeria's sovereignty. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ms. Ning stated that China firmly opposes any country using religion and human rights as an excuse to interfere in other countries' internal affairs or threaten them with sanctions and force. Supporters of Beijing's position see it as a bold defense of Nigeria's independence, while critics warn it could draw the nation deeper into a superpower tug of war where faith, politics, and influence collide. So this morning, we ask, should Nigeria stand up to U.S. pressure and align more closely with China, or maintain a delicate diplomatic balance to protect its sovereignty without igniting a geopolitical storm? What do you make of China's intervention, and what course should Nigeria's leaders take now? What are your thoughts on this lingering matter? You can join the conversation and call us on 02016 352013 or 0902416 Tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. So, they say when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers.
Who be grass for you now?
Sorry.
No
sorry. No
and she was, once she started it, I was like, she's about to fall into a trap.
sorry. But we understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. So, the US has said, will likely designate you people as a country of particular concern if you don't sort out your internal issues that has to do with, religious Christian genocide. China is saying, you cannot do this. You cannot be seen to be doing this. We are going to be backing these people up. They would handle their issues, but you're not supposed to go there as a police for them, right? And, a lot of people are on the two sides. Some are saying, hey, fantastic. China is also another superpower. Come in and help us fight this battle. Others are saying that, it's not like China loves you. It's because they also have their own interest, and we have to be very careful. But let me come to the ladies. What do you think is the right thing for us to do? Should we accept China's support, or should we just find a way to play neutral, benefit from both sides, and then deal with our internal issues ourselves? What do you think?
True sovereignty is not about isolation. Right? It's about mastering interdependence, but on your own terms. So let's start with the fact that China, we know China, we've been doing a lot with China through their Belt and Road Initiative, and we are benefiting a lot from it, infrastructure, roads, everything. And then with the loan facilities that has been opened to us. But then, say, when person loan you money, you go there lawyer when it's time to pay back. It's easy to ask for something and to say, I want something. But then you have to remember that if you're smart enough to have a repayment plan that doesn't tie you or make you dependent on that person, it's also about mastering interdependency. And then our relationship with America is important. We cannot underestimate that. So for me, it's not about choosing sides here. For us to be able to establish ourselves as a sovereign nation, we have to be smart enough to leverage both sides, both countries, a relationship with both countries, right? And I think that there's no greater time as this. This is a great time for us as Nigerians, for us as Africans, to establish our own policies and in different ways to now establish ourselves as a sovereign nation that cannot be bullied, that regardless of the fact that we need aid from foreign countries that are doing better than we are, because we know the reason why we go to them is because we know that they are bigger, they are better, the whole world knows, and that we need aid to survive in so many ways. and that we need loans to survive. But then it's going to be on certain terms that don't make us not have a say when it comes to our policies, our regulations, or anything concerning our country. That's
yeah, I see that, China is positioning itself as a friend to Nigeria and to Africa, and on paper, at face level, it sounds good to have that sort of support. When all this started, I waited, I was like, okay, where are all the other top countries? What are they saying about this? When we hear US with other countries or with Russia, we hear how other countries decide either to jump into support or to support one or the other country. So I'd like that we have other super powers, lending their voice and showing support for us. And I know many people are saying the question is, this does not mean that they're doing it because they love us. That's right. But I think that it is now time for us to all be aware that the way the world works, nobody really loves you for loving you. It's not just like, we just like how Nigerian culture is. No, there's an agenda for everything. America, the reason why Trump will say what he has said, as we have discussed before, there are different types of agenda. And a lot of it boils down to the economics of the world, the economy of the world. Countries depend on other countries to make money. Africa, we are able to, for us, have always been just the place where they come to get raw materials, send in their waste, whatever it is. We've become a dumping ground. There used to be a time that they did this and they got away with it with slavery. It was cheap and free. Now we're asking for monies to be paid. Now we have even become much more, we're wiser. We know that it's not just about sending our raw materials to them. We too want to produce, so we now have refineries. A lot of things was shaking the dynamics of how the world is being run. And so you would see a lot of these big superpowers now changing strategy. Some people will come to you as bullies. Do this or you're out. Because we have the power, we have the military, we have this to take you out. Some people will decide, no, let's come as friends. But understand the country in the middle, the grass that you have said, the country in the middle, that nobody comes to you because they just love you. Everybody is protecting an interest. They want their country to do better. So realizing that, understand that your relationship with them has to be more strategic. So we like the support, we appreciate the support, but we're not going to fight with big America. So I like that we're going the diplomatic route, which is we're having a conversation, we're saying to Trump, you know what, we actually see eye to eye on many things. Maybe there's a misunderstanding here. And then we're saying to China that, thank you, we see all the investments you're making in our economy, we understand that, but we need to play it. We need to play it slow. We do that amongst friends now. There's this Oga here. Please, just talk nicely. You just never know. So that's what we need to learn to play until someday we too are a big superpower and people will be playing around us too to get our favors.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Tafmai, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, I'm just thinking, can we just focus on Nigeria and the Nigerians that are suffering, dying on a daily basis?
Excuse me.
I wasn't even deliberately looking for you. I just saw 4 killed in Benue. Like, it just jumps at you. And you flip the next one, you see another set of people killed. You flip and you see another set of people killed. So whether China wants to defend Nigeria against America is not my business. I feel that we've already established the only thing that is going to help Nigeria is Nigeria making a decision to help itself. Nobody will help you if you're not willing to help yourself. There's a lot of political will that I feel like this movement should generate so that we are not playing lip service. The issues of killings within the Middle Belt North part of Nigeria has been ongoing for a very, very long time. It's not today. It's been years. Even before I was born, I heard the Kaduna, Southern Kaduna, it's always been happening. So what we know is that there's a problem on ground. Let's focus on our people. Let's discuss on our own issue. Okay, what is government going to do? What's the new policy the government is implementing? And because I know that the new service chief's orders were given before this entire Trump situation escalated. But even at that, based on the Trump drama, there should be an official response from Nigerian government, not to Trump, not to China, but to the citizens of Nigeria, who are feeling like, yes, this is a conversation to be had, and those feeling like this is not worth discussing. Let the president, let the media spokesperson for presidents talk about, oh, we've spoken to, this is what we're doing concerning America, what we're doing concerning this one, but for the Nigerian people complaining about insecurity, these are the things we're going to do differently. We hear you, we know that there are still a few pockets of challenges. These are the progress reports we've had, but not officially, and it would help strengthen the sense of we have a clear direction on what we're doing, because right now it's just it feels like we're being distracted by a lot of things. Oh, China has now come. Oh yeah, let us discuss what is China going to do for you? America is going to do. America cannot invade you. We're distracted because Nigerians are still dying.
We still have our internal issues. Yeah, let's take a short break. When we come back, we dive deeper into this conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still discussing China's intervention in what's happening between Nigeria and the United States. And we know that America has a global moral responsibility as the world police that they are to intervene in countries they feel are not upholding human rights. And they've done that over the years, right? I remember during the time of Rwandan genocide as well. They still came out, they spoke up and everything. But what we are contending now is them saying that they want to invade to find a way to, take out the terrorists, since we are not able to solve the issues. And I also understand, like you ladies have rightly said, that China also has its interests in the country. They have supported us with infrastructure, their own. There's a disposition that they have which is different from America. America comes from this, bullish, we need to impose, we need to give you policies, you have to align with us in certain ways. But China doesn't come that way. China believes in building. So they come in and then they set up, they focus more on the economic parts of your nation. They set up infrastructure, they set up companies and all of that. They employ your people and that. So they come from a building perspective. While America, we know once they invade like that, they come from, we're in charge, we're taking over. And I know that it can seem like they really mean well for us, which I believe that to an extent they do. But how do you think Nigerians can stand up and maintain sovereignty without telling them no? So we don't want to tell China no. We appreciate your support. We want you to help us. But at the same time, how do we help ourselves? Because these are internal issues. These are African issues that require African solutions. And I also like to ask, why do you think the African Union and the ECOWAS are not speaking up? Aren't they the ones that are supposed to be saying, okay, you people are having these issues, you are a part of us. How do we negotiate and discuss with you in a way that you can solve your issues? Why do we have to wait till an America or a China comes in to help? But before somebody attempts to respond, we have a call on the line. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, you guys are doing a very wonderful job.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you. You always enlighten the public. Most of your topics are very interesting and of public interest.
Thank you.
You guys are doing a very good job. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So the issue of President Donald Trump, to me, as somebody who is security inclined, I can tell you it's an unwarranted open threat to a sovereign state like Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes, so the President Donald Trump, with his position in the world, can view things in his own perspective as regards what is happening in other nations. But he should always remember that you don't threaten a sovereign country. Where is the sovereignty of Nigeria? As a country, you don't tell a man how he manages his domestic affairs. And what works in your home may not work in my home. There is no particular formula in managing homes. Every man decides a system that suits his home. It's like in the marital life. Some men believe until they abuse their wife before their wife can understand. Some men, with common eye contact, their wife understand. Because the system works in your home does not mean it's going to work in my own. The President Donald Trump will have done better if he had offered to assist Nigeria with technical support than coming to threaten Nigeria as a country. It's uncalled for. However, it's a wake-up call for our leader to sit aright and think towards a right direction. If your neighbor starts telling you your children are not doing well, as a parent, it stares you in the face, and you know you have to sit up and do the proper thing. God bless Nigeria. Good morning once again.
Thank you
everybody.
so much, Mr. Peter,
You.
for your contributions.
Okay, so I'm going to use an example to answer your question before I delve into the answer. If you, in this economy now, and you just have one stream of income, say you just eat the basic 3 square meal
If you can.
if you can safe, and then the day you want to now eat Chinese, all those other things now be luxury. Most times you might not even have money to buy Malta Guinness if you feel like drinking Malta
What you
Guinness.
call it?
Right?
Advertising.
So it's what am I trying to say? That's why every day we're here, we're preaching multiple streams of income. We rarely see anybody doing one thing, right? And then if you now decide that you just want to be maybe a housewife or you don't want to work, it's at your own detriment. Why am I saying this? Nigeria has to not just depend on superpowers. Nigeria has to diversify their partnerships.
Excuse me.
Nigeria has to expand their cooperations with not just US, America, with not just China, but with the EU. At least, thankfully, with this thing, as China came on and pledged their cooperation, and with what has happened, EU also stood up to say they don't support America trying to invade Nigeria. So we have to expand our cooperation with EU countries, with Gulf states, with India. India has the population in India is so much that we can do a lot of trade deals and a lot of exports with them. And then even intra-African countries, there's so much we can do so that we don't depend on solely on just aids coming from America. That if America threatens and say, we pull the aids, that, we start trembling. So that because when you have multiple streams of income or multiple streams of partnerships, you can balance well. And so when someone is coming at you, you can say, okay, if this doesn't work, I can call your bluff and move on to the next thing. And aside from that, Nigeria, we as Nigerians, right in this life, nobody is going to give you respect if you don't earn it, or if you don't prove that you should be respected and stand up for yourself. See, Nigeria, all over the world, people are corrupt, governments are corrupt. But then there's so much, we were Nigerians, and we know that there's so much corruption in our system. And that's why we've not been able to move forward. We need to be able to establish ourselves as a nation that we can hold ourselves accountable. We can stand strong so that we can earn respect within ourselves and also outside the country. Because I think, aside from people having the guts to want to bully you, is because when someone wants to bully you, because they lack respect for you. Someone respects you, they dare not, before they open their mouth to say stuff to you, they will think about it twice. So we need to be able to help ourselves as a nation, hold ourselves accountable, and earn the respect of Nigerians within ourselves, and so we can get respect from other foreign countries.
Okay, we have another caller on the line, Caleb from Abuja. Good morning, Caleb. Are you there? Oh, sorry, we lost Caleb. Yeah.
Okay, so let me start from maybe in response to Tope. She had said that for her, she sees this conversation almost as a distraction. There are issues on ground. People are dying, and and that's the truth, But as much as that is true, we also need to understand that that's how the world works. The government has different arms. We can be dealing with one, we can be dealing with internal issues, there will be external issues. And sometimes when you take your eye off something that may seem in the beginning really inconsequential, if you take your eye off it, before you know it, it takes you, and especially with this particular story where a lot of us are arguing that the particular tweet is quite misleading. It does not really depict the picture on ground, and yet we have some people on ground and in Nigeria who feel that no, this tweet is right, this is what we're dealing with. So it's important that through foreign diplomacy we're dealing with that. And so that's why we are talking about this, while we're also dealing with what is happening on ground. I just think that what this has done is remind the government how important it is, this fight against insurgency and banditry and whatever it is that's happening on ground. And I think that it has made us to sit up. Because sometimes, you know, when you're the Nigerian speaking, it's like you're overdoing stuff. After all, you're not the only country that's going through this. This country is going through it. This country is going through it. But now you see that other superpowers, for whatever reason or interest, you know, they have now decided to put an eye on you. So it's good that I feel that it has made us to even sit up as a country. And as we have heard, the president is about to appoint new ambassadors. You know, we've gone, how long has it been since? You know, just not. So that also has put us on, you know, has made us sit up, you know, concerning that. So we're now dealing, I think this conversation is mainly about how we deal with external forces, external countries. And so your question now is, how do we, how do we interact in such a way that we are not at a disadvantage?
Yes.
So India, as we know, you know, you mentioned India, Amaka earlier, works with, I mean, it relates with US for their defense. As a great partner with the US. But it also trades heavily with Russia and China.
Yes.
Do you understand? So that is what we just need to do. We have the way that we have positioned ourselves, actually Nigeria, the way we have positioned ourselves in the world is that, you know, we don't take sides. We are neutral. We don't lean too much on this side or on this side. We deal with you based on what also gives us advantage. We don't want to fight any wars. We don't want to, if people are arguing with anybody, we're there in the middle, just say, don't be too angry, you know, calm down. And so that's where we have decided. And for now, this is where we're going to stay, you know, and we obviously also need the big superpowers to back us up. So you don't want to be caught in the middle of China and America or China and Russia, you know, because you two are opening your mouth and proving big. We haven't gotten there yet. We are working towards it. And so for now, I just think that this diplomatic route that we're going is the best way to go. And that is how we'll continue to deal with the superpowers until we too ourselves become superpowers.
So there was something that I had said earlier, you know, about expecting that the presidency comes out to speak to us. They've done that. I was actually supposed to take the story in The Nation, the major headline of The Nation, so people can get the Nation newspaper and read what the president has said about the ongoing issues and what they are going to do. But we have a caller on the line, Shedrack from Kaduna. Oh, sorry, we lost Shedrack, but we have to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Thanks for staying with us. You know that you can also join this conversation by calling us on 02016352013 or 09024163440, or tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. Top way.
Okay. I was trying to
quickly read
the
Nation
to see
said,
what the president said concerning it. But before that, and the conversation we were having before, there was something else. You mentioned something about, EU, AU, all of that. The conversation that we are talking about from China didn't come from the president. Somebody was saying, why are we giving so much attention to a statement made by because there's the person that made the statement,
the spokesperson of a particular ministry,
made the statement. So it was like, why are we dwelling on it? EU won't support us. What is AU doing? The truth is, the AU of today shouldn't be talking about what the President Trump said all of that. When AU should have stepped in, and when they are meant to have stepped in, was when there was insecurity, and they can see that Nigeria is grappling with insecurity challenges. Because that is the idea of AU. That's the idea of ECOWAS. That's the idea that made Nigerian military go and fight in Liberia, that was supporting one another.
The person who spoke is Mao Ning, who is a spokesperson of China's foreign ministry. She couldn't have spoken without a directive. Don't you think so, from their president?
No, they have spokesperson for presidents. They have foreign ministry.
But it's something that they have had a conversation about.
Especially China.
Especially that China. They are very intentional. They won't just come out and just say it. So if they spoke concerning what is happening and their alleged support that they will give to us, it's because they have had a conversation with their
as distraction. Because next thing, EU will talk now. Next
He has
thing,
already
Ghana will
talked.
come and talk. Another, so we'll not be discussing all of that one, and we're not discussing, okay, let's deal with the issue on ground. The AU, back to the convention, AU as a body is supposed to unite and support African countries. Now, many African countries are dealing with multifaceted challenges, and the AU is not strong enough to deal with anything. So we cannot look to a weak organization to help a weak country.
Why are they not strong enough? So what's the essence of that?
Symposium discussion. It's not your view discussion.
Well, we can try.
They need because the challenges we've spoken about. We've had issues with even within ECOWAS. ECOWAS used to be very strong. Then we now have some people pulling out of ECOWAS because the ECOWAS system is not supporting them.
So we have a caller on the line, Yakub, and then I'll come back to you to finish up. Oh, he's gone. So continue.
I'm so sorry. So my in conclusion of my thoughts on this matter is that, you know, it may not come close to home, you know, what some people are dealing with. The lack of options that some people have. There was a time I was heavily complaining about beggars in Lagos. Like, we have like a proliferation of beggars in Lagos. And I was calling out an official. And in the conversation I was talking with the official said that these people are displaced Nigerians. This is the effect of the crisis we are facing, in that they used to be farmers, they used to have farmland, they used to have places where they could go to work, they used to have schools, and since their villages have been ransacked, the surviving few find their way to where they can start again from. And some of that is Lagos, some of that Abuja, and they will beg. That is why Nigeria has a large number of internally displaced people. Yeah. Those are the issues I would like us to focus on. Now, I've not been able to finish reading the conversation that the president said concerning the country of what's the CPC, country of
particular concern.
Yeah. But what the president said was that Nigeria will come out stronger. That is what we want. We want the president to win because Nigeria is safer when the president wins. We want the system to work because Nigerians will be happy. We are happier when the system works. We just want to have a sense of peace because we will see the clear plan to make things work.
But to add to what you just said, it's so sad that there's no plan for. We can see that there's a problem. We can see that killings are happening in Benue Plateau and everything. But then there should be such a grounded plan in how the people that have been displaced, the people that need jobs, in how they're relocated, in how they're taken care of. There should be solid plan.
Changing topic.
Yeah.
No, because these are the internal issues. These are the internal that we need to deal with. You understand?
Yeah.
These are the internal issue that we need to deal with that makes us stronger. But
yeah, I also wanted to just add my little 2 cents on the AU, ECOWAS, just lack of influence, let's say, in world politics. And it's because the singular African countries need to work first. There are just so many issues that we're dealing with in Africa. Wars everywhere. Coups every other, dispensation. So Africa needs to get its act together. Some people have alleged, if you're listening, depending on who you're listening to, that one of the reasons that Gaddafi was taken out because he was pushing that agenda, pushing the agenda for a strong AU, a strong Africa, where we're united, we have our own currency and things like that. That would have solidified us really as a voice, when we're in world politics. And as I said, when the small boys start to rearrange themselves, the big boys are looking and wondering, what's going to happen? It looks like they're about to displace us. So a lot of people will say to you, Gaddafi's and the issue of Libya has further weakened us as African countries and as a continent. So that is why we have some issues really with being of having influence. Then we also have singular African countries for many reasons who are dependent on this US, China, Russia, for all sorts of resources, and aids. So how would you expect one country that depends largely on these countries to say anything against what, that country is saying. So we have all those issues. So until we come together and start understanding that as Africa, we need to start building ourselves, we would never really have that sort of strong voice to stand up to protect or influence world politics.
Basically, it's just about economic self-sufficiency.
Yes.
That's all.
So we have Ire from Ogun State. Ire, are you there? Sorry, we lost Ire. So I wanted to ask a question as we were wrapping up. So this is just my final thoughts. How sovereign are we really? We've been shouting, we're sovereign, we're sovereign, we're sovereign on paper. How sovereign are we? And I went to, get what it means to be sovereign. It says a sovereign state is a self-governing political entity with a permanent population, a defined territory, we have those two, and government that has supreme authority over its internal and external affairs, independent from foreign control. So like you rightly said, we need to begin to build ourselves in such a way that we have autonomy, we have authority over every aspect. Yes, every, no, we will get there. We'll get there. It's a work. We need to first of all have a vision. Where do we want Nigeria to be in the next 20, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years? It's not something that is not a walk in the park. It's not something we can do today and get results tomorrow. We need to have a trajectory. Where are we going to? And build towards it so that we become strong as a nation. We are no longer going cap in hand to beg for this and beg for that. And, leaving ourselves so open and porous for any country to feel that, is it not this couple of black people, what do they have? We are the ones helping them with this, even though we know that at the end of the day they are stealing more from us than they are actually giving to us. It's something we need to be first of all, we need to identify it, we need to be deliberate about it, and we need to solve our major issue, which is corruption. And the root of everything is corruption.
We're a sovereign nation.
I know.
We are fully. Do you know? No, I don't know.
Do we have economic power?
Yes, we do.
Tell America to.
So sovereignty or that you have that you are interdependent with other countries does not mean that you're not a sovereign nation. Even America depends on other countries. That is how the world works.
I know that.
But America is able to, has maybe the biggest military, the strongest military powers of today. But it's taken time. Some people is their economy, some people is their population. We have seen countries that were small countries that have built some sort of strength in one way or the other. We will definitely have to interact with other countries. That's the way of the world. But yes, do we need to do more for ourselves to strengthen our economy? Yes, and that's the way that we're going. But even to do that, they will not sit down and watch you try to strengthen make yourself better and bigger. They would find ways to get in. So just stay on focus, but we're definitely a sovereign nation.
Yeah, but I just want to answer what you said in terms of identifying and solution. Whether I like it or not, there's something the Igbo said. They say, Akunesio bike. You cannot...
When you got it.
Yes, when you got it, you got it. And when you got it, you can now start purchasing military strength. You can now start doing a lot of things. You understand? And we cannot get it by borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. That is the reality. What we need to do is to build our economic strength and build our people to be able to manufacture, produce, and be able to export. And so that we can have the money to do to Akunesio BK ourselves.
So we need to still ask ourselves, are we only sovereign in name or have we gotten there yet? Thank you so much, ladies. Akunesio BK.
Yes.
That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll move on to another topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.